Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, Godbreaker in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. How old is too old to have political power? That's the critical question I am asking after several politicians have had health episodes that show me they are not capable of caring for themselves, let alone taking care of the state of the union. Now, recently, 81-year-old Senator Mitch McConnell had a second episode where he froze and possibly had a seizure while he was taking questions from reporters at a Kentucky event. And 90-year-old Senator Dianne Feinstein, who is incapable of walking for herself and gets around in a wheelchair, has given power of attorney to her daughter. However, she's still got power over the decisions related to the affairs of the country. With Dianne Feinstein, she cannot even make decisions as related to her own personal life, but she's making decisions as related to the country. And again, both of these politicians have me asking the question, how old is too old for someone to serve political office? Now, some would say that asking this question basically is age discrimination, but I see it as an important question because we have to look at the mental competence of these individuals who are making decisions that affect over 300 million people in the United States. And if individuals are not capable of caring for themselves, then they are not capable of making decisions that benefit 300 million people. And we have to go out here and make a tough decision as related to being able to get these people out of office if they are not competent or capable of being able to go out here and do the duties they were elected to do. And I would like to believe that somebody being of sound mind would be a standard for them serving in political office. And if you are not capable of having a sound mind, then you should not have a seat in a local office as a city councilman or a mayor, or in a state office as a governor, or in a federal office as a House member of the House of Representatives, or a member of the Senate, or even the President of the United States. And with all of these elderly politicians, I believe it's time that we really started asking the question, how old is too old? Because if a person is clearly having episodes like Mitch McConnell has been having, and people are giving away their power of attorney like Dianne Feinstein has done, then we cannot sit here and be patient. No, these individuals need to be made to step down from their positions, and they need to be made to step down for their positions because them being in office does not benefit we the people. Because having a politician in office who cannot go out here and serve effectively because they are having health issues, this is something that is not something I believe the founding fathers would stand for. No, they would insist that this person step down because this person cannot effectively serve we the people. Unfortunately, what has happened is because our country has been run by two political parties, coerced by special interests, these individuals want to hold on to the seat of political power, and they're willing to go out here and try to hold on to that seat until they possibly die, and they don't want to relinquish that power because they believe that they have power over the people, when in actuality it is their job to serve we the people. And if you are a servant of the people, you understand that if you are no longer capable of serving due to a physical or mental health injury, then it is time for you to step down and let go of that position of power and let another person represent we the people. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing is that you've got people who are old who don't want to let go of that power, and that is a trait of many of these people, some of them from the silent generation and the baby boomers. They don't want to let go of their positions of power because they see these positions as being important to them, not ever thinking about how they are supposed to serve we the people. No, they want to hold on to these positions of power for life, believing that they are entitled to these positions, but you are not entitled to a position you are elected to. No, your job is to go out here and provide service to the voters, not go out here and be in a position serving yourself, because that's exactly what Mitch McConnell and Dianne Feinstein are doing, trying to serve themselves, not looking to serve the people, because both of these individuals should have left their positions, I say about 20 or 25 years ago. Unfortunately, you get blocks of voters who take their positions as related to voting for granted, and they don't go out here and say it's time for this individual to leave and it's time for this individual to move on, because it really is unacceptable for a person to be in a position of power if they are again having episodes like Mitch McConnell has had, where he has fallen down, where he's gone out here and he's now having seizures, where his brain clearly is not working. Mitch McConnell definitely does need to step down, and the same thing for Dianne Feinstein, who is coming in wheelchairs and has also had incidents where she's fallen down at 90 years old. Yes, you've gone out here and done your service to your country, and now it is time for you to go out here and let others go out here and serve in those positions. People of sound mind, people who are capable of taking these positions. Unfortunately, none of these individuals trust anyone to take their position, and they don't trust anyone to take their position because they are selfishly thinking they are the only ones who can go out here and do this job. This is the same type of codependent thinking that many politicians of the baby boomers and some of the silent generation have. They believe they are the only people who can go out here and do these jobs, and they don't trust anyone to do this job, and that's why they never made an effort to go out here and groom a new candidate to go out here and try to take their place. That's what many older politicians used to do back before the age of the baby boomer and the remnants of the silent generation. You used to have politicians who understood their terms, would be ending, and once they understood that their term was going to end, what they did was accept that there was time for them to move on, and they always groomed a successor to take their place. But what's happening here is the same thing that happened here in New York with Charlie Rangel. Charlie Rangel basically had a position for over 40 years, and he never groomed a successor to take his place. And what happened was Adriana Espaillat wound up taking his seat, and that entire black area wound up being taken over by Dominican politicians, and the tangibles that used to go to black people were starting to go to Hispanics instead, all because Charlie Rangel did not want to relinquish his position of power. And the same thing is happening here with Mitch McConnell and Dianne Feinstein. They don't want to relinquish their positions of power, and that's creating a problem as related to American politics. What I'm seeing is you've got a lot of elderly politicians who, again, don't want to give up their political power and their clout, never wanting to let go, not understanding that there is a time where everybody has to go out here and let go of things as related to life and get ready for life in the next world and get ready for the end of your career. Everybody has to reach that end in their lives. And while some think that, because they're old, you're being, again, discriminatory, but there is a place where you have to say somebody is not competent to do their job, and it's just very dangerous to leave people who are not competent in doing their job in a position of power, because if you leave this person in this position, what you are going to do is lead to individuals being taken advantage of, and the nation being taken advantage of by a group of predators who will go out here and look to prey on the country, because the representatives of the country won't be in a place of sound mind to represent the interests of the people. And that's what we have here in Kentucky and California. And I even say the White House, we have a government not capable of serving the people because the leaders themselves are incompetent. And that's where I ask the critical question to the American people. When do we, the people, realize that people are not competent and demand that they leave office? When do we, the people, go out here and start demanding that people who are not capable of doing their jobs wind up being taken out of those jobs? Because, again, these are servants that you elect, and I have to wonder where the problem is. Is it with the old politician, or is it with the blocks of voters who continue to vote for these candidates who clearly are not of sound mind? Which one is incompetent? The politician who is old and incapable of caring for themselves, or the apathetic population that really goes out here and continues to vote for candidates that clearly show you that they are not of sound mind and incapable of caring for themselves? So I have to wonder who cares less about the country, the politician who wants to hold on to power, who knows that they have one foot in the grave and another on a banana peel, or the people who have gone bananas with apathy by continuing to vote blue or red no matter who, and they would possibly vote for a corpse if they could. I mean, I wonder where the problem is, because it's clear to me that many of these politicians are too old, and if you're too old and not capable of caring for your own affairs like a Dianne Feinstein, or incapable of physically caring for yourself like Mitch McConnell, there's a point where you just have to put a period at the end of your career, step down from office, and allow somebody who is competent and capable of stepping up. That is something that needs to be done as related to maintaining the state of our union, because if you've got people who are too old in a position and they are not capable of doing their jobs, then that's going to lead to the country basically falling into a worse state of decline. Because if you have nobody leading a country, what you have is a rudderless ship, and a rudderless ship is destined to crash on the rocks sooner rather than later, or it's destined to sink at sea from the rot that's inside of it. Because if you don't have somebody to lead a country and set a direction, you're going to have a country that's gonna go nowhere except to a state of falling into, again, sinking or crashing. So when I look at this whole situation, again, I have to ask, how old is too old? And again, yes, you want to go out here and say, as long as somebody can do a job, they should have a job. But it's clear to me that there are several people in politics who are too old to be there. And it's time that we go out here and put some sort of boundary here, such as term limits or some sort of retirement age. Because again, if somebody won't retire, then we have to find a way to get this individual out of power. Because if they're too old to do the job and not able to, again, think critically, then they put the entire nation in jeopardy. And that's something most Americans have to think about as related to the state of our union. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the Steam series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, my sorority novel, The Thetas, or my vampire novel, Eternal Night, you can go over to Amazon.com and pick those books up in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them in other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers. John Haynes, 1987. Learn lessons about life and teenage love in the 1980s in this coming-of-age John Haynes story. Get your copy of John Haynes, 1987 in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere.